Hey Saints, welcome to Sfhs Today. I'm Shu.
And I'm Keegan. To start things off, student council elections were held Monday. President Camille Zuffert will take a second term and Vice President Jillian Shanery will take the reins from outgoing VP Carmen Cavisto.
20 other students were elected to the council, and their names are posted around the school. Also, yesterday the League of Women Voters was at the school to encourage students to register and vote to help them through the process.
Last Thursday, SFHS participated in a mock car crash where seniors and juniors got to do a reenactment of consequences of drinking under the influence and driving. Here's more on it. I had the opportunity to participate firsthand, and Jolie Olson put together some interviews about the event and its impact.
The mock car crash was a phenomenal experience. I got to meet a lot of people that have been trying very hard to make this a wonderful event that will raise awareness. All the servicemen that I met, the police officers, the paramedics, the fire department, they're all very nice, very supportive, very clear on what they needed us to do, and it just all went very well.
A little sketched out though, because they said they're gonna break the window back here. They're gonna like take off the roof of the car, so I don't know. Pretty pumped for it, to be honest.
You know, I think that this mock car crash thing, I think it's really cool. I think that being able to do this and to show people what it means to have this, and like, I think it's really important for people to see like what it's actually like, and like they know that like during graduation season, this is not okay. It's not okay.
It's really sad, kind of rough. It's hard to do.
Well, it's always fun to be the bad guy. I mean, no one's really rooting for you, so you can just do whatever you want. And acting drunk, I mean, you just kind of act a little bit dumber than normal, and that's not too hard to do.
This is really an incredible opportunity, I think, for students to see firsthand what consequences drunk driving can have. It's pretty intense, actually.
In our segment of What's New, Melanie and Misty spoke with our own Mason Abraham about his first helicopter ride as part of the mock car crash.
What's new?
I was in a mock car accident, so I was paralyzed from the waist down, so they had to get me out of the car pretty quick to the hospital. I'd say I'm very happy that I did it. It was a really unique experience, something I've never done before. I've never been in a helicopter in my life besides that day, so it was a little scary at first, but once we got up there, it was really cool. Yeah, if I could ride in a helicopter again, I definitely would, and I would recommend it to anyone else who has an opportunity to. It's maybe a little different method than I took.
The Mississippi 8 State Art Festival was held last Friday, and several SFHS students earned honors. Reporter River Pearson went to check it out.
So what the Minnesota State Art Fair is it's mostly for the Mississippi 8 conference, and what we do is we enter in our artwork. Our art teacher decides who she thinks has exemplary art, and then she chooses us to put it in, and then we get to submit up to 2 pieces of artwork.
I entered my piece. It was called Overthinking. It was a sculpture, and it was a face, half of a face and shoulders made out of clay, and then I made a stack of smoke coming out of its head that was made out of great stuffs like hardening foam and cotton, and I got an 18 out of 20 on my piece.
Both my art pieces, my Cinderella dream was a carriage, and it was like a Cinderella carriage. It had a lot of detail on it because I wanted to, because I love putting detail in artwork. I loved being able to use a bunch of different colors to make my artwork colorful and stand out from others. And my other art piece was actually the second piece I've ever made, and it's called Lost in Wonderland, and it's a vase that is built from a bunch stacking coils and flattening them, and then over 40 handmade flowers.
This was Hannah's first year working in clay, and so I was impressed with her ability from the start. I had Maria in ceramics too, and the Buddha, which went into the art competition, was her final piece in ceramics too, and I think that Maria really tied together her sculptural techniques Her use of detail, excellent craftsmanship, and her passion for nice, smooth, clean work to make her piece successful. Katie is a very imaginative artist, so she'll take something very simple like a bowl and make it into a shark. So Katie did, her piece for the show was a tiki with a pineapple on top and a coconut in the mouth. So Katie looks at something and imagines it in a way that most people wouldn't. She has the ability to be very creative. And her technical skill is there. She gets lost in her work, where time doesn't matter, you know, and she's in the studio for hours and hours at a time, just focusing on every little detail and making sure that her piece is as great as she imagined it.
Earlier this week on Wednesday, Hannah Beckman went to Cedar Creek Elementary School with the Ceramics 2 class that participated in a project with the first graders. The kids drew their dream animals and the art students created the animal in clay.
Mrs. McQuay took her Ceramics 2 class to the Cedar Creek Elementary School and delivered the dream animals to the students. That must take a lot of talent. Speaking of talent, Crossroads School held an African drum show this Wednesday, and Reish and Tracy beat it to Crossroads to get more information.
The African drum and dance program started about 3 years ago, and it started at the Crossroads School through a grant that Miss Thurston, a teacher over there, got through the Minnesota Arts Board. And it's just continued to grow from there. And we were invited 2 years ago, high school students. And so I brought our first group of high school students. I just kind of opened it up to kids to see who was interested, and we took a group over, and it went really, really well. They had this was our second performance this year. We had one again in the fall. And after the performance at Crossroads, we went over to the Coon Rapids Senior Center, and the students performed there to probably a group of about, I'd say about 30 seniors. And afterwards there was a question answer kind of a thing, and the seniors just loved it, and they had so many questions, and they were, you know, applauding when the kids were doing their flips and their dancing. And afterwards the kids kind of mingled amongst the seniors, and so from there then we ate lunch there, and then after we got back on the bus and we went to an alternative school.
We performed at the Crossroads School, and what my performance was the harvest, which they do a lot in Africa, and they don't use a lot of tools. I mean, they don't use a lot of machines, so they use handmade tools. And we performed today to ensure people that, you know, we celebrate everything in Africa pretty much. And I had a blast, and the other group performed something called cuckoo, and it was more of just a tradition of having fun for kids and learning. It's like a great learning environment here, and I think it's a family thing pretty much. So I mean, I'm happy to be here. I'm glad that this is what I can finish my high school senior year with. You know, I've been doing this for 2 years now. 2 years now? Yeah. I'm pretty happy and content where I'm at. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I could keep doing it because honestly, Fode and Sana, they're the instructors, and they've been doing this for a long time now. But I can keep doing it, and you know, just follow on that path. My hands are gonna get all hard and whatnot, but you know, it's fun. It's a really fun experience. So go purchase my own djembe. Djembe is the drum that we use. It's made out of goat skin, and then the other ones is made out of cow skin. And there's a lot of background history to it.
Truly is just open to whoever is interested. We've had a number of kids for a while. I had drums up here, and kids would come up during academic time and lunch, and they would just drum. And but if anyone is interested, they just need to talk to me and let me know. But it's open to whoever is interested.
It's going to be a fun experience, though.
Concerts are coming up for both band and choir. The final band concert, which includes a tribute to seniors, will be held on May 17th at 7 p.m. in the PAC.
Also, the Spring Pops Choir Concert will be held on the Tuesday, May 24th at 6 and 8 p.m. It will include senior solos and a senior slideshow. Tickets for both events are available at seatyourself.biz.
With the school year coming to a close, Senior Sunset is just around the corner. It will be held on Wednesday, the 18th at 6:30 in the back gym. Seniors will be able to pick up their yearbooks and at that time sign them and head to the football field for some speeches and to watch the sunset together one last time.
Speaking of all things senior, seniors are scrambling to make up unexcused absences, and Mackie and Emily got the story on lunch detentions.
It kind of came out of SMC. We've been talking about the attendance policy and making sure that students take it responsible, not only seniors but also the other grade levels. And is that we thought that should be a requirement for the exemption days and eventually graduation. In order to try to make that happen, there are some kids that have a lot of them. Some just have a few that they need to make up. We've kind of had after school, I think Monday through Thursday. The APs have been doing most of that, and that's in this room. So that's one option that we've tried to do, and part of it was also to clear up some of the absences that maybe students hadn't reported it. So Mr. Thompson and St. Quest have been working with students to make sure it's accurate of the totals. And then our hope is that students are making a good effort to try to get all that done prior to graduation, and then also the other grades making sure that they address it before the end of the school also.
I think it's a good program what they got, but what I don't think is fair is the fact that they really kind of just threw this at us like a month left. Like, we didn't know anything about it, and they were like, hey, if you don't get this done, you're not walking at graduation.
Well, with the end of the school year approaching, there are quite a few students who are looking to get all their unexcused absence hours and tardies made up before the end of the year. And what we were noticing is when the students were coming in here, there was quite a few students, and we were kind of limited on space. So, for the first, few days during some of the lunches, we didn't have enough space in here. So, for all the students who were coming in. So that's kind of why we put a sign-up sheet and limiting the number of students who can come in during their lunches.
You can sign up for lunch detention here at the greeter station, and you can sign up for lunch, academic time, and after school.
Well, what a student will do is they will go down to the lunchroom and they will grab their lunch, get their lunch, come up here. Once a student enters the behavior intervention room, then we have a sign-in sheet, and I will sign the students in, and then they get credit, showing that they get credit for serving a lunch detention. While they're in here, their students just have to sit quietly and eat their lunch and serve their lunch detention.
I think it's better that they don't do grade reductions anymore, but it's pretty dumb if you're a senior and you have a couple of absences that they could possibly take away from you walking for graduation.
Finally, this week is Mental Health Awareness Week. People should notice the posters up in the hallways and tell the stories of celebrities who cope every day with mental illness.
To round out the show this week, Senior Spotlight Kendra Kresbach, who has been a speech captain and award-winning member of HOSA, a participant in theater, and a member of girls' tennis team.
I'm involved in NHS, speech, HOSA. I was in tennis for a while and Knowledge Bowl.
Oh, Kendra is a very strong candidate. Kendra came to me in September, and she said, Mrs. Weiland, I want to do HOSA, and I want all the information and books you can possibly give me because I really want to succeed and I really want to achieve. And she did. She gathered all my medical books on her own time. She read books. She researched things on her own. She is first place for one of the HOSA competitions in medical reading. So she read 5 medical books on her own time and was so successful. She got first place.
At HOSA State, I got first place in my category, so I get to go to nationals in June.
She wrote a really good paper in college writing about medical malpractice, tort reform, and I know that might sound kind of esoteric maybe, but I didn't know anything about tort reform until I read her paper. So she's really a bright kid, and I think she has a really big future.
After high school, I'm going to St. Ben's College, and then after that, I hope to become a medicinal chemist.
And she's really she's a fun student to have in class because she works really hard.
So she just is an overachiever. She is in the right pathway. She's following the career pathway, the medical career pathway. She is just definitely doing everything she needs to do in the right direction to continue on in this pathway. She has plans for the future. She's thought things ahead. She's prepared herself for what's ahead. So yes, definitely a strong candidate. I'm very, very proud of her. She is now going to national competition. She won first place in 2 events in the HOSA, and she chose the medical reading, and she's very excited about that. And so she will be with me at at Nashville, Tennessee, at the National HOSA Convention. So I'm very, very excited for her and very proud of her.
That's all we have this week, Saints. Stay tuned for weather and RQT.
Hey Saints,
Tracy and Hannah here.
today's going to be rainy with a high of 54 and a low of 32.
Tomorrow will be partially cloudy with a high of 52 and a low of 34.
And on Sunday we're going to cap it off with a little bit of a cloudy day with a high of 61 and a low of 37.
Have a wonderful weekend, Saints, and we will see you next week.
It's the random question thing. Ding.
My last tweet was Joe Kovacs is the, and then goat emoji. Look him up.
How the mock car crash made me think different about drunk drivers.
My last tweet was, A Bug's Life helped me find Jesus, and the praying hands emoji.
Tweeted at Vainglory Game. When your ancient world history teacher is lecturing on Catherine the Great, and all I can think about is her amazing stun ability.
Love waking up to this drunk text from Vegas.
My last tweet was, what a peaceful way to wake up.
The demand for goats is unreal.
My last tweet was last night. I went to the Book of Mormon with my lovely wife, and I tweeted, I am Moroni, at the Book of Mormon for the 3rd time.
Have anyone realized that Gotham, like from Batman, spells got ham?
Does anyone else feel guilty for not wearing certain clothes? It's not that I don't like the shirt, it's just I like these other ones more.
Have a good weekend, Saints.